In this video, we will learn how to do basic math operations in the Python shell. So first I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it a equals 5. So that assigns the number 5 to the variable a. So if I type in a, it's going to return to me the number 5 because that's the number I assigned to it. Now the basic math operations are kind of like what you would expect. If I do a plus 5, it's going to add 5 to 10. Or it's going to add 5 to a and make 10. Now notice I can add spaces in between. I can do a with no space. That'd be maybe a little cleaner, and that gives me the same value. So you can add spaces. Not all things are, some things are very specific on where you can add spaces and where you can't. But whenever you're doing math operations, they typically are not very restrictive. So we did addition. Now we can do subtraction. So if I did a minus 5, you can see the answer is 0. I can do multiplication. A times 5. That gives me 25 because a was 5 times 5 is 25. A divided by 2 gives me 2.5. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So all these operations seem to make sense. One thing that's maybe a little strange is if you want to raise something to the power of something. So if I do a to the power of 3, I have to add 2 stars to raise something to the power. So a star is 5 to the power of 3. Now, if you might notice that if I type in a again, it's still 5. I didn't reassign any value to 5. I just asked Python, what would the answer be if I were to take a and multiply it by a number or add a number or whatever. If I wanted to reassign the value of a to a new number, then I have to do a equals maybe a times 2. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take a, multiply it by 2, and then assign a new value to a, and which is going to be the answer to that expression. So now if I type in a now equals 10. So in order to change these values, you have to do the equal sign to reassign the value. So if let me return it a equals 5. So I'm returning it back so that a equals 5 again. Now notice I'm missing one operation, or one standard operation. I haven't told you how to do the square root. And the square root is a little, you have to actually have an algorithm to calculate the square root. Now some square roots are pretty standard. You know, if you want to get the square root of 25, that's pretty easy. But you know, getting the square root of 2 it has to be solved algorithmically. So in order to do that, you need to actually import a package into Python. And the good news is it's already a standard package, so you already have it installed on your computer. You don't have to download it or anything. So you just simply type in import math. Now, math is a package that is available on your computer that it just imported into shell. And now you can use the functions within math to do some operations. So let's type, for instance, square root. So you type in math dot sqrt, and just for your reference, sqrt is a standard abbreviation for coding for square root. So in just about every language I've seen, sqrt standard for square root. So I'm going to do parentheses, and let's do 2. So it's going to get the square root of 2. See, 1.414 is the square root of 2, and you can add of course any number you want. 5, and it'll give you the square root of 5. You can also add a variable. So if I add math sqrt a, then it gives me the same number because a was 5, and it's getting the square root of it, so that's 2.23. So now you'll find that these packages have many features associated with them, and if you want to see all the other functions available, just type in the name of the package, type in the period, and then type in the tab key, and you should see a window or a text list box that opens up, and it gives you all sorts of other functions that you can use. A lot of these abbreviations are going to make sense to you, and some of them, you know, it might be difficult to know exactly what it's doing, but fortunately there's a whole internet that has all these completely described, and tells you how to use each and every function. But so what I've gone over today is how to do basic math operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, raising something to a power, and now how to do a square root function, which included importing a package, and all of that also included, you know, creating a variable and reassigning a variable. So play around with these and get to, you know, get a firm foundation on how this works. One thing I should note is that this math function doesn't work on, it's kind of it depends on the type of variable that you add. So if I add, let's say, a list, say if I wanted to get the square root of 1, 2, and 3 all simultaneously at the same time, it's going to give me an error. So this function is expecting a very specific type of variable, and that's a single number. If you give it anything else, it doesn't know how to handle it. Now there are other functions in MATLAB in Python that can certainly handle lists of doing multiple numbers simultaneously, so don't worry about that. But this particular function cannot. It can only do one number at a time. Okay. Please provide any questions in the comment list, and thank you.